If we are faced with such threats, we will eliminate them. Everyone needs to understand this and realize that actions of this kind will lead to an unprecedented escalation of the conflict and will take it to a completely different level, expanding to the point of a large-scale armed conflict. Everyone needs to realize this.
Ukraine says it has struck a Russian Shadow Fleet tanker off the Mediterranean coast, widening the conflict beyond the Black Sea theater. Kyiv claims it attacked the Shadow Fleet tanker using aerial drones from roughly 2,000 kilometers away, far beyond Ukraine's own borders. If confirmed, this would mark the first time Ukraine has hit a Russian-linked vessel in the Mediterranean Sea, signaling a major operational leap. Ukraine says the strike was carried out off the coast of Libya on December 19, placing the incident in international waters near North Africa. The Ukrainian Security Service, or SBU, claimed the Russian tanker Qendil suffered critical damage, suggesting the hit was serious enough to disable operations. Ukraine also alleged there were no casualties because the vessel was empty at the time of the strike, reducing the risk of loss of life. Kyiv justified the operation by arguing that the tanker Qendil was evading sanctions and was part of Russia's oil export lifeline. Ukraine's security service said Russia used the tanker to circumvent sanctions and earn money that ultimately helped fund the war against Ukraine. The SBU argued that under international law and the laws and customs of war, a vessel supporting Russia's war effort becomes a legitimate target. It added that striking in international waters sends a message that Ukraine will pursue Russian assets wherever they operate, not only near its coastline. And Ukraine said it will not allow vessels that sustain Moscow's war machine to act with impunity, even if they operate far from the front line. Reports say the Oman-flagged tanker is now in the eastern Mediterranean and is en route to Russia's UST Luga port, indicating it remained underway after the incident. The episode occurred just hours before Putin downplayed the impact of tanker strikes during a live event, suggesting Kyiv wanted a direct rebuttal on the same day.
I can't help but ask about the strikes by Ukrainian drones and unmanned boats, and here's why. It seems that besides trying to hit critically important infrastructure inside the country, there are attempts to target Russian exports, particularly the supply of Russian energy resources abroad. Some heads of state have already expressed their concern, including Turkish leader Recep Tayyip Erdogan. There's a woman sitting next to me from Rostov-on-Don, and of course, I can't help but recall that just the day before yesterday, as a result of a strike on a civilian vessel in the Rostov port, 2 crew members died. Prior to this, the Ukrainian regime targeted 4 tankers in the Black Sea. Will there be a response from Russia? If so, what kind? What could be a possible Russian response in the event of a potential blockade of the Kaliningrad region if such a question were to arise in Europe?
Let's start with the second part. I hope this won't happen. If we are faced with such threats, we will eliminate them. Everyone needs to understand this and realize that actions of this kind will lead to an unprecedented escalation of the conflict and will take it to a completely different level, expanding to the point of a large-scale armed conflict. Everyone needs to realize this. As for the strikes on our civilian infrastructure, in response to this, as someone from a military media outlet, you know that our forces regularly respond to this by delivering retaliatory strikes, which in their strength, power, and precision are just incomparable to what the Kyiv regime does. However, anything that harms civilian infrastructure, not fighters, but people who are not involved in military actions, is, of course, worthy of the most severe condemnation. There will always be a response from our side. This is done partly for utilitarian purposes, to increase insurance premiums. This will not lead to the expected result. And in the end, it won't disrupt any supplies, but will only create an additional threat. Responses from our side will undoubtedly follow.
On December 15th, Ukraine released footage it said showed a Sea Baby strike on a Russian submarine, escalating the maritime dimension of the war. Ukraine's SBU claimed it used underwater sea baby drones to blow up the Russian sub Varshavyanka, pointing to a new form of asymmetric naval warfare. The video showed a ship explosion in the aftermath of the attack at the port of Novorossiysk, a key Russian logistics hub on the Black Sea. Earlier, on December 10th, the SBU said it used sea baby drones to strike a Russian oil tanker linked to the so-called Shadow Fleet, targeting revenue routes. Ukraine also claimed its sea baby drones hit Russian tankers Cairo and Virat on November 29th, showing a pattern of repeated maritime attacks. And on December 12th, Russia attacked 2 Ukrainian ports that Ukraine says damaged Turkish-owned vessels, underscoring how commercial shipping is being pulled into the conflict.